keep it real with ya.
Hey, say. Hey everybody, it's me, Minu, back with another video. I don't know if this video will go up before the other video, where I'm also doing my hair, but I'm doing my hair again. Or well, I'm taking my hair down again in this video, because I've gotten a very long instruction on how to do a wash day for my hair. That's gonna take me probably about 2 hours in the shower. Goddamn. So I'm taking my hair down again so that I can wash it the right way. Um, It's a couple things I want to say. So this right here, this being my window, as far Sadie, as far as like how I angle this, like it's just in order to not have this part of my window showing, I would need to like point it damn near to the corner of the other side of the room. And I don't want to do that because that's kind of annoying. But yeah, so that's just the thing I wanted to say. You see the little unicorn over there. I think her name's Teresa. If you look back here, you can see my cat, and then you can see, I don't know what that is, a dog, whatever. Anyway, I just wanted to, call that out because it's something that bothers me, even though I know you guys probably don't care at all. I got Sadie over here, as you heard her earlier, and I got Morticia back here on the ace flag, as per usual. So I know that this is old news, and y'all know I am not good about being like up to date on things. Like I don't make a video as soon as something happens because I have a job and I work. I could probably, if I made the video while I was also working. But I just, when I'm working, I'm thinking about work, so I'm not thinking about this. Um, but it had been shared with me recently, a video that Matt Walsh had done on asexuality. And I was like, here we go. Like he's not YouTube know better than to ever recommend something about Matt Walsh to me. Like I'd have to be doing some wild shit on YouTube for them to be like, yeah, nah, you want to watch this Matt Walsh video. Like, no. Um, so I rarely get recommended right wing videos, but somebody had shared it. And, watching it, I was like, I have thoughts. Now, before I launch into his video, which is a separate thing, as I always tell people, before you get outraged about any type of commentary on something, or you get upset based off something someone else told you that someone else told them, go to the original source. That's what I always say, and I'd be a hypocrite if I didn't do that my damn self. Oh God, I hope I'm not cursing too much at the beginning of the video. I don't want to get demonetized. You guys know I struggle with that every video. Um, and it took me a minute because Washington Post has a paywall. So it took me a minute to find ways to get past that paywall so that I can actually read the original article that Matt Walsh is talking about in his video before reacting to what Matt Walsh says in his video. Now, I still don't know, and if some of y'all know how to do this, great. I still don't know how to do the whole picture in picture, where you see me like down on the corner or something, and then you um see my screen as I scroll through things and stuff like that, like the streamers do. I don't know how to do that. Or like you put me in the corner and then they play the Matt Watch video. I don't know how to do that. So I'm gonna have to just like you just gotta trust me that I'm reading it and I'm looking at it and then I'm talking to you. So let's put the mic down. So I know it's gonna sound a little bit different than it does when I'm like holding it up to my face, but I hope it's still like, you know, you can hear me and understand me and stuff. So we're doing this. I'm gonna read through the article. I'm gonna take my hair. So I did this after the other video I did where I was talking about my hair to try and make flat twists, and now I'm gonna take these down so that I can wash them after I finish making this video. But I managed to get access to the Washington Post article because before, the only way I was able to get the article was when it was posted on like a Fox News site. And at first I was like, oh, maybe I can read it from here. And then as I was scrolling through, I was seeing they were like advertising other articles about like Washington Post it said like Washington Post promotes PDF Elia, and I was like, oh nah, I can't, I can't trust these guys to tell me what actually was written. So I got access to it. The article was by Samantha Cherry back in February because it's about um, asexual people on Valentine's Day, which I think is interesting because, like, before I even get into the article, like, I think it's interesting to talk about asexual people on Valentine's Day. And I understand why they may choose to go that route because asexuality is known and understood a bit more than aromanticism. But if I was going to write an article, I would write an article about how what aromantic people do on Valentine's Day, or if they celebrate Valentine's Day at all. Um, because when you are writing an article, because Valentine's Day is about romance. Now, in our society, romance and sex are linked to each other. Yeah, that makes sense. But Valentine's Day commercially is about romance, unless you're a Victoria's Secret. And so to write an article about how asexual people deal with a holiday like Valentine's Day kind of gives the sense that asexual people can't have Valentines, or like they can't be in relationships where they celebrate Valentine's Day, or they don't have romantic connections. Now, is it hard for asexual people to get in relationships? Absolutely. But there are plenty of asexual people who do desire romantic relationships, who are in romantic relationships and celebrate Valentine's Day and romance and love and all of that stuff. So I just wouldn't write the article like that. I would write an article about how aromantic people feel about Valentine's Day, not asexuals. So that's my first thing. Hello, Sadie. My head is so itchy. I find it interesting that my head is more itchy from trying to do flat twist than it is from doing regular twist, like trying to like do this stuff to my scalp. Sadie, you gonna fall. You gonna fall off my lap. She really trying to make it work. She's stretching her whole body across my thigh, across one thigh, like I'm gonna make this work. Don't get me wrong, I got some thick thighs. But are they thick enough to hold an entire cat? I don't know. Maybe if she sat on the chair, maybe if she sat on the arm of the chair, yes, I'm talking about you. Maybe if you sit on the arm of the chair, you won't be risk of falling. I don't know why you insist on perching yourself in such a precarious position. Okay, she looked away from me. She ignored me. Okay. So I have the article over here on my other screen. Um, I had to highlight it because like the whole thing is just like really, the site is really messed up for me to like, because I mess with the cookies and stuff like that. Odell Pax has always been skeptical of Valentine's Day. She's not opposed to romantic gestures, she said, but the holiday feels capitalistic and corporate driven. I agree, as companies entice couples to spend big on presents and chocolate. How many rubber bands did I put? Yeah, I tried to actually fix my split ends with rubber bands, and now I regret it. um, if I have a partner, why do I only have to give them presents on one day? Why do I only give them flowers on one day? Why is that day in particular special? The New Jersey resident said it just never made sense to me. Pack skepticism is widely shared, but here it comes with a twist. What a twist. She identifies as both asexual and edemromantic. Uh, what is that? Edemromantic, which means that she does not have any desire for sex, and she doesn't make any distinction between romantic and platonic feelings. So, what to do with a holiday that assumes romantic and sexual attraction are the norm. So, I already have an issue with the beginning of this because I don't like saying that asexual means you don't have any desire for sex. I don't like calling it that. Now, as a sex repulsed asexual, my body still desires sex from time to time. Like, I even as a low libido sex repulsed asexual, my body still has moments where it's like, hey, what's up? You know what I mean? Doesn't mean that I actually want to do anything with anybody, but it means that my body is it wants something. It wants some kind of release. And that is a natural thing for your body to do, is connected to hormones, as I've said in other videos. So I do not agree with saying that being asexual means you don't desire sex, because some asexual people have average libidos, they have high libidos, they are willing to have sex with their partner. Some of them enjoy having sex with their partner. It None of that invalidates your asexuality, and so, like, I always have to reiterate when I'm talking about asexuality is that it means that you lack sexual attraction. You are not sexually attracted to people. now you can be Now you can not be sexually attracted to someone and still be romantically attracted to them. You can still have sex with someone you are not sexually attracted to, because sexual attraction does not equal what your libido does or what your body physically enjoys. Those things are not the same thing. And people confuse that all the time. And lately I've seen more and more articles, mostly the ones with Yasmin in them, but I've seen more and more articles where they're talking to these people. And if it's not Yasmin, it's usually some white people, like multiple white people. Um, and that's like the kind of definition they want to give, because that's like eye catchy, like someone recent and say, what, they don't have sexual feelings? Oh my god, I have to like look at this article, I have to read this article, um I have to reply to the article or react to it in some way and let everybody know how I feel about how unnatural it is to say you don't have sexual feelings. You know what I mean? I think it's really easy to have people react that way when you describe asexuality that way. And that's a big issue that we've had in the community, is that people don't use the right definition of asexuality. And I don't know why people don't want to use the right definition. I don't know why people want to make it everything else but the fact that you don't experience sexual attraction. Because when you don't describe it that way, now it doesn't even sound like the other sexual orientations we have, because sexual orientations are about attraction. So if you say asexuality is like sexual feelings, that you're not even following the same template that we used in the past to talk about other sexual orientations. So that's just kind of weird, um, as a way to identify that. Dim romantic means that they don't have a distinction between romantic and platonic feelings. I don't have like the biggest issue with saying that, because I do think that it's totally possible that someone doesn't understand the difference between romantic and platonic attraction. But I would encourage people like that to like do some digging and get more in touch with themselves to understand why. Now, if you're somebody who doesn't understand like emotions or feelings, or like you struggle with things like that, maybe you're neurodivergent or something, and so you just struggle with knowing what feelings are what, because I struggle with that, as a neurodivergent person as well, then you want to look into that versus saying like it's a whole romantic orientation. Because, like, I don't know, I feel like if somebody went around saying like I'm X sexual, and that's because I can't identify the difference between heterosexual and homosexual, I think people would just say, well, you need to dive deeper into that and understand your own feelings. I talk way too much about the beginning of this article. Okay. And then they have a picture of Odell Pax with 3 dolphin stuffed animals. Um, Totally fine. They got a nice little knitted cap on with a sweater. Looks kind of cute. They look comfy. They're like a comfy person. They look like if I went over their house, they'd have like everything would just be soft and kind of plushy, and I like that. Okay, so what does she do on February 14th? She makes time for self-love and self-care. For her, that means soaking in a hot bath before curling in bed with her 3 stuffed animals. Um, Marsha and Sylvia are named after Marsha P. Johnson and Sylvia Rivera. Okay, that's what's up. So you can tell already she's a very liberal person, very progressive person, supportive of trans activists. Is she trans? I don't think it does it say? I don't know. Then it talks about what people do on Valentine's Day historically, since 1700s. She's not alone in rejecting it. Okay, so we're done with PAX. Um, 1% of lesbian, gay, and bisexual Americans are asexual, according to a study from the Williams Institute at the University of California. God damn, the Williams Institute at the University of California at Los Angeles. Although experts such as Jennifer Pollett, Assistant Director of Gender, Sexuality, and Women's Studies at Temple University in Philadelphia, believe the population is undercounted and its influence underestimated because of lack of awareness. Okay, so just to talk about this paragraph. Look at my hair. Just to talk about this paragraph. Fuck you mean 1% of lesbian, gay, bisexual Americans are asexual? Where's that study? Hold on, I want to see who said that. Like, now I gotta go look at something else because I'm like, what do you mean 1% of lesbian, gay, bisexual Americans are asexual? That's not what asexual means. 1.7. So I'm looking at the William article. 1.7% of sexual minority adults identify as asexual. The study also found that asexuals are more likely to be women or gender non-binary, assigned female at birth, younger, compared to non-asexual lesbians, gay men, and bisexuals. Wait, asexuality is not synonymous with a lack of sexual attraction, sexual behavior, intimate relationships. A little more than a third of asexuals reported being sexually attracted. More than half of them reported having sex, and they were as likely to report that they were in a romantic, intimate relationship. I got a problem with this article too. Shit. One, I will say this is a problem with the community that we've talked about. And, you're asking people who say that they have sexual attraction, but they identify as asexual, and you're using them to represent asexuality. To say that being asexual is not synonymous with lacking sexual attraction when the literal definition of asexuality is that you lack sexual attraction is indicative of the same problem that I've been talking about on this channel when it comes to how asexuals represent themselves and the damage that it can do to the community and the confusion it can cause to the community. But what I didn't see in this article is it saying that the percentage of lesbians and bisexual people and all that is actually asexual. It's not saying that. Now, is it comparing asexual experiences to that of lesbian, gay, and bisexual people? Yes. But I'm not seeing on this article that they're quoting that it says 1% of lesbian, gay, and bisexual people are asexual. It's comparing them to that group, not saying that they are a part of that group. So that's another issue with this article already, is that the source that you even use to try to back yourself up isn't accurate. So again, this article, I'm already not liking the article. So moving on to sexual intimacy, often placed on a pedestal to sell products, especially for Valentine's Day, but love without romance or sex is just as valid and fulfilling. Sure, yeah. I support that. A 19-year-old realized they were asexual and aromantic in high school. When asexual and aromantic people like someone, you're attracted to them as a person, and you're attracted to the way they are with you and the way they are with other people. Okay, I guess I don't. If that's the way they want to describe it, that's fine. I don't think it's hurting anybody to say that that's how you experience attraction. Their Valentine's this year is their friend who helped them manage their Tourette syndrome. That's nice. Always there for me. Did research, all that stuff. Okay, so there's a picture of them with their friend. Are they not wearing a shirt? It's a picture of them with their friend and stuff. Okay, I don't have any problem with, like, if you want to celebrate Valentine's Day, at your Valentine being your best friend or something like that. I think that's fine. Again, my thing really, I don't really care about how people celebrate Valentine's Day. I've never cared about Valentine's Day as a thing. Um, I'm caring about how this article represents asexuality. So I think it's fine that they said, oh, my friend is my Valentine's. Cool, cool, cool. Karen. Okay, let's see what Karen says. The holiday of love can feel isolating, a painful reminder of how difficult it is to find a partner who accepts her for being ace. Sexual attraction isn't the forefront of her mind, but she is panromantic, which means that she's romantically attracted to a person of any gender, and demisexual, which means she needs to form a deep emotional bond with someone before experiencing sexual attraction. I so I would say if you're making an article about how um people of minority sexualities and romantic orientations celebrate Valentine's Day, I don't mind including demisexual in there. But you guys already know how I feel about being like, he doesn't accept me because I'm ace. And then in the next sentence be like, I'm demisexual. There's a reason that you have a different word for it instead of just saying you're ace. I'm just throwing that out there. Anyway, figuring out romantic and sexual orientation are two separate things. Put things in perspective for me when I found the asexuality spectrum. Um, she stands firm in her own identity, even when dating within the LGBT community. She has had people trying to cross her boundaries. It makes her platonic connections much more than potential romantic ones. She's going to spend Valentine's Day going to work and then coming home to kiss her dogs, Ralph and Eddie. I mean, Valentine's Day is a day. It's not like it's like, ooh, Saturday is Valentine's Day. Like, a lot of people are working. And the people who are taking off work, like, good for you, but a lot of us have jobs. Like, okay, moving on from her. No, not moving on. Talks about how she can get chocolates on clearance. I'm down with that. I'm not the biggest like candy fan, but I do love using the holidays as ways to get discounted products. Where are you going? Oh, you know what? How you got here? Okay. Okay. Okay, moving on to Amber. She's always enjoyed Valentine's Day. As a child, she gave cards to friends and family. As an adult, she shows her appreciation for them, free from the stress of a toxic romantic relationship. She goes out for drinks with friends on February 14th. She's known since puberty. Um, she was different. Now she knows that she is Arrow Ace. She's accustomed to having her identity questioned. People always insist that there will be someone out there for me and that it's too soon to know. It's impossible to make some people understand that I just don't have romantic or sexual feelings. I identify with that. People always say, well, you're going to meet someone and they're going to change everything. Like, where they at though? And then going on to another person. Valentine's Day is not a big thing because they're in Finland. It's mostly celebrated in elementary school. Um, Valentine's Day in Finland translates to Friends Day, which includes boyfriends, girlfriends, and non-romantic friends. Then talk about Valentine's Day. They still felt pressure in school because everybody had crushes on each other and they never felt like they fit in. After a teacher briefly taught the meaning of the letters LGBT, he researched the queer community and became aware that he was asexual and aromantic. Now, as Valentine's Day rises in popularity among Finnish adults, he likes to use the holiday and every day to express love for his friends. Every time that Valentine's Day comes around, I get reminded that I should really tell my friends that they are important to me. All right, well, that's the article. It's not very long. Thank goodness, because I'm trying to do 15 things at once, as you can see, messing with my hair and then like trying to read and scroll and then look at you guys, and I'm not really looking at you guys. Um, but yeah, I think I kind of already said what I wanted to say about the article, why it was written the way it was written, how I disagree with the way that they are representing asexuality here. I think including a lot of Arrow Ace people is really good because that gives you that aromantic representation that I feel that you really need when you're talking about a holiday that's so based on love and crushes and dates and like I get that for adults Valentine's Day is a sexual thing, but the way that it is presented commercially, the way that it is celebrated in the media is as a romantic holiday. And so when you're talking about Valentine's Day and you want to do something cool or you want to explore this new identity that you ain't know about and tell people about it so your article can get attention, I would go with aromantic people. What are aromantic people doing today? But I guess if you did that, it'd be boring because you notice that most of the people who are aromantic either spend time with their friends or they do self-love. And that's not really unique to the asexual or aromantic community. There are plenty of allosexuals who are single and use Valentine's Day as a way to celebrate themselves or do self-care or hang out with their other single friends. So it's not I'm a little torn. I'm a little torn because on one hand, I feel like yes, we want representation. Yes, we want articles written about us. But on the other hand, I just want people to understand that asexuals, like, we're not that different. You know what I mean? Like, we're not like doing like brand new things. It's not like there's an asexual version of Valentine's Day that we do that's just so different from everybody else. Like, a lot of asexual, aromantic people do Valentine's Day the same way as anybody who's not in a romantic relationship would do Valentine's Day. You know, or for me, like I say, for me, Valentine's Day, I literally just forgot that the day existed. I forgot that it was Valentine's Day because, like, it's the day of the week. I went to work and then I watched a movie after I got off work. There was nothing special that I wanted to do. And I feel like as people come to question things like capitalism and communism, more, like, the more we look at capitalism, the more we look at how it influences like people's spending habits and all of that, the more we see people rejecting these holidays that are capitalizing on human emotions. You know, like, the more we see like companies capitalizing on people's mental illnesses, companies capitalizing on love, like a human emotion, companies capitalizing on your identity. Like, a lot more people are choosing not to participate in Valentine's Day. And there are people who are in romantic relationships who they might do a simple small gesture for Valentine's Day, and then that's it. It's not like the big thing that it was in the past. Like, in the past, it'd be Valentine's Day, and people would be sad and lonely and disappointed if nobody wanted to be their Valentine, or if no one gave them a gift or a card or whatever. But people aren't like that anymore. People are literally looking at it like it's just a commercial holiday that you're using to sell jewelry and clothes and chocolates and candy. Or, this is the holiday where all the restaurants are booked up. Or this is the holiday where people are going to propose, um, and all of that stuff. Like, but a lot more people are not falling for it. So I'm kind of torn in the sense of like, yes, I do want there to be more representation, but I also want people to understand like we are just regular people. Like I tell my friend, Sadie, like I be telling my friend, I don't want asexuality to be presented as this quirky, cool thing or this super unique thing that, people are just discovering, because I already feel like some people are using asexuality to be quirky, and I don't like that. I just want people to understand that like asexual people exist and we're not that different from you. We just don't experience sexual attraction. You know, that's it. Some of us and it's not the same thing as saying that we don't have sex ever, or we never have a sex drive, or we don't have sexual feelings. It's not the same as that. You want to have that conversation? Write an article about how people with low libido navigate relationships. You know what I mean? Write an article about how people who suffer with erectile dysfunction navigate sexual relationships. Write an article about, asexuals and hookup culture. That's a good article to talk about, because you can see the differences in how we interact with the world from stuff like that. You can examine it through that lens. But when it comes to a lot of other things, like, bro, like, we wear clothes, like, we like to go shopping, we like to go out to eat, we all have jobs. Like, being asexual doesn't have to be this like radical thing either. It doesn't have to be quirky, it doesn't have to be trendy. There's no asexual look where we wear makeup a certain way, or we wear our hair a certain way, or we have to walk around in purple and black and gray and all that stuff. We just be regular people going about our lives. And I feel like sometimes these articles try to like present us as like, I don't know, like just some kind of like different. It feels very othering. It feels like the articles are still presenting us as othering. Like when Yasmin complains about how she goes into her interviews and then all they want to talk about is Do you masturbate? Do you have sex? Why won't you have sex? Oh, you're still a virgin. Ooh, gotta make that the title. Like, you're a virgin. Oh my God. Um, and stuff like that. And it feels very othering rather than giving representation. The best thing for me when it comes to ACE representation, or really any representation, is when you present us as regular people who exist and live our lives just like everybody else. That's why I love seeing shows or games where, yes, there's a trans person. We know they're trans. They have some struggles related to the fact that they're trans. But outside of that, they just a normal fucking person like everybody else, and they out here doing the same shit we doing. We all trying to survive in this world together. It doesn't have to be every 5 seconds reminding people that they're a trans person. They just happen to be trans. That's how I want it to be. This person happens to be trans. This person happens to be gay. This person happens to be asexual or aromantic. And that's a part of them, but it's not their entire identity. There's no like, I got to make sure I'm dressing a certain way so people know that I'm like this. You don't have to do all of that. I've met asexual people who I never knew were asexual because it's not something they felt the need to broadcast to people. Conversely, if you want to go around wearing the pen and the colors and talking to everybody and being like an activist, go do that. That's totally fine. But not everybody's like that. And if it is truly 1% of the population, which I find to be kind of hard. But if it is truly 1% of the population that is truly asexual, then there's enough of us that you probably have just been around other ace people and you don't know. Just like people say, like, you have a gay cousin, you have a trans associate. You may not know that they're trans, you may not know that they're gay, but they exist. They're likely there, statistically speaking. So watch your mouth, because they might be looking at you like, oh, I see how you are. You know what I mean? Just like they say that for gay and trans people, I want to hear them say that for ace people. Your niece, your nephew might be asexual. You just don't know it, because they don't have to. There's no way to look or be. There's no right way to look asexual. There's no right way to be asexual. There's no way to act asexual. And that's okay. So that's all I want to say about the article. In the next video, I'll continue messing with my hair, and I will talk about Matt Walsh's video specifically, because I have some points about the things that he said in the video. Take care of yourself, because you deserve it, and no one's going to do it for you. Love you guys. I'm going to see you in the next video. Bye.